Hey everyone, my name is Ashu. I'm the founder of Make School. Make School is a new kind of higher education, what we're calling the product university. Now, traditional universities, the gold standard is the research university. And research universities' purpose is to expand the world's knowledge. If you think about everything that we as a species know as this big circle, research universities and researchers and professors are living on the very edge of that circle and pushing the boundary of that circle to become even bigger. But inside of that circle, there's a big area for us to play. And that's where we take things that we already know and put them together in different ways to create things that will have immediate impact in people's lives. For people who are creators, who are inventors, who are passionate about rearranging things in ways that can change the world, I don't believe there currently exists a place for them in higher education. And I feel there exists a need for a new kind of higher education for these types of students. We spend a lot of time thinking about what the purpose of higher education is. And I think there are two key elements that would make the ideal higher educational experience. The first is that higher education should provide a foundation of knowledge that will last 100 years. Everyone in this room is going to live longer than 100 years. And whatever you learn in this dedicated period, right before you jump off into your careers, should serve you for the rest of your lives. Higher education should also exit students into the workforce. What I mean by this is, it should prepare you for your day one career, not only serving you for the rest of your lives, but also helping you make sure that you have a place in the world as soon as you graduate. In traditional higher education in the United States, we've separated these two goals. And the top universities pitch you that they'll serve you for your entire lives and your entire careers. And the lower tier of schools, vocational schools and trade schools, are billed as lower caliber and not for the elite of our country, but they're the ones that provide students an exit into the workforce. I believe we can do both of these things together. And I think for the archetype of students that product universities target, the makers and creators of the world, we can do it very well. The foundation of knowledge that we believe will serve this archetype of student best is the process of looking out at the world, identifying problems, coming up with solutions to these problems, developing the tool set to actually bring these solutions to life, and getting it in the hands of real people, and using whatever you learn from these people to iterate on what you've built and make it even better. And today we're using computer science as the tool set that we're teaching because it helps exit students into the workforce. Because this skill set today requires few resources to actually build products that will solve problems in people's lives. And also, this skill set is in very high demand, that students, after having learned computer science, can gain employment. Now, a little context as to why I decided to start Make School. When I was 16, when I was in high school, I built my first iPhone app. It sold 50,000 copies in the App Store. Now, for me, there were two very neat things about this experience. The first is that, from an education standpoint, it was very different than anything else I had learned. In traditional school, I was taught to develop these tool sets with the hope that one day I might use these tools to create something. With this project, I set my mind out to say, I want to build something and ship it. I wanted to build a game and get it out there. And everything I learned along the way was developing a tool set in order to accomplish this goal. So it was purpose-driven learning. And I found myself much more engaged and feeling much more empowered through this education. And the second piece was when I had people all around the world having paid for something that I created and writing reviews saying this is my favorite game ever, it gave me a sense of satisfaction that no teacher, no gatekeeper, no college admissions officer could ever have given me, because I had created something that brought value to other people, that put, in this case, smiles on people's faces. And I grew obsessed with this idea of building products that might show people new experiences or solve problems they have in their lives. And I went to UCLA for 1 year to study computer science, very excited to be able to immerse myself in an environment where I can explore more about this field. But I was incredibly frustrated when I got there, because here I was having discovered this passion for creating things, and my university was telling me, put that passion on hold for 4 years while you learn a bunch of things that are tangentially related to what I wanted to be doing, before I go out and spend my entire career and my entire life pursuing this passion I had. And instead of going to class, I spent my entire time in college in my dorm room working on new, different creative projects. And it felt very frustrating that the idea of education and learning and the idea of creation were so disjoint. So that's why I started Make School, and that's why we're trying to create this new type of university where learning and creating can be one. Now, there are 3 macro trends that I'd like to share with you, which are causing the rise of the product university. If we at Make School weren't the ones to do it, someone else out there, because of these 3 macro trends, would start a similar type of institution. The first one is that higher education is failing. You've heard about this in the press. You may have watched the documentary Ivory Tower. Higher education is using outdated curriculum and outdated teaching methods. Higher education is causing the biggest debt crisis of our generation. And higher education is not preparing students for the 21st century economy. The second macro trend is the software revolution. In the last 30 years, the cost of creating impact has gone down to 0. What I mean by this is, you, with your mind and just a computer, can reach millions of people all around the world. Previously, if you were a high school student and you wanted to do this, you would need a lot of resources, a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, but today you need practically nothing. In the next 30 years, 50% of existing jobs will be replaced by software and automation. The economy is being completely reshaped, and the skills that we need for this economy are very, very different. Now, the third macro trend is Generation Z. It's your generation. Generation Z is very different than generations of the past. It's taking the trends that we saw coming from the millennials and going 10 times further than that. Because Generation Z, the unique thing about Generation Z is they grew up with supercomputers in their pockets. They have access to the world's information at their fingertips. They have access to information that helps them understand what the world's problems are. And now paired with the software revolution, they actually have the ability to create and the ability to impact the world. They're more empowered than any generation previously. They have the drive to do it because they care about these issues, and they have the ability to do it because they can go out and actually impact the world with nothing except a laptop. And today that's true in just software engineering, but tomorrow that'll soon be true in biotech. There are companies that are doing the same thing that the App Store and Amazon Web Services did for software, that are starting to enable individuals sitting behind a computer to create vaccines that'll solve diseases out there in the world. I see a world where young people in universities are empowered to impact problems that are facing the world. This is the future that I believe in. And a few examples from Make School today of projects that our students are working on. The first one is in partnership with the White House, tackling the digital divide as part of President Obama's Connect All initiative. Our students are building a web portal to help people who don't have broadband access in their homes understand how to use the internet, how to leverage it to find education, to find jobs, and connect with their loved ones. Another project is TurboTax for O1 visas, making it much simpler for immigrants to come to the US at a much lower cost than having to spend tens of thousands of dollars on lawyers. And the last one is a combination of hardware and software projects, or hardware and software pieces, where our students are building a radio antenna that will plug into Android phones to create a mesh network. So if you're in an area that doesn't have LTE or cellular data, you can use this mesh network of devices to relay internet from one device across vast distances where you have all these other devices connected. Again, trying to tackle a lot of the issues with the digital divide. This is the world, this is the kind of education that I had envisioned when I was going to university, where I could actually create create products that will tackle problems that are facing the world. And it's incredible for me to see both students in high schools at hackathons building software that will change the world. And we're hoping that the rise of the product university will give them a place to go to a higher educational experience that will empower them and enable them to build a career around doing more of this. Thank you.